All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Yeah.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this podcast forever, and this is the worst damn podcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to G.W.R. Gonzo'S Wrestling Room. August 7th, 2023. I'm Chris Gonzo'S, joined by Tony Gonzalez. How's it going?
Doing good.
And also joined, like always, by Marcus Fine. How's it going, Marcus?
Doing all right.
I take it 57. That's the total number we're at right now.
I'm having people ask me now, so every week I will just update that number. We're 13 away from the record. So
Cool.
very doable.
So I still got 4 months.
Yep.
We're at 39.
39?
Yeah, 40 coming up Saturday.
Well, I'll have 60 by next Monday if everything works out right.
All right, don't brag.
Kind of hard not to. When you love the
Hey.
sport, as you guys know, you just
Yep. Hey, Kelly. Hope you're feeling better.
Hey, the comments are coming up today. Yesterday at that wrestling show, no comments was coming up on my screen at all. And then I got on the stream on YouTube on my phone, like around intermission or whatever, and then I saw that you and Billy had been commenting. And we hadn't seen nothing. And it was actually for even my, like, usually it shows like how many people's watching up here in the corner. That wasn't even working because it said 1 the whole damn time. And I looked when I was on YouTube, there was like 8 or 9 people watching at that time on
you had quite a
YouTube.
few. I know Walt was watching it. Somebody else was watching it too. I think maybe Damien DeVille or somebody was.
So I don't know
you
what
had
was
other
going
people.
on, but the stream thing wasn't working as normal yesterday because, like I said, it was stuck on 1 there, and it wouldn't show me no comments or nothing. And then I got on YouTube and saw there was like at that time I think there was 10 or 11 people watching, and then I saw comments. I'm like, well, I don't know what's going on, so I left it on my phone so I could see comments. Looks like it's working today. Kelly said that you mean if she gets better.
She's getting better.
She says she's doing some better. That's good to hear, Kelly.
She's still running fever and has a headache, but she's been in bed all weekend, so she had a real bad chill attack, I guess you could say, like 2:00 Sunday morning. She had 3 blankets on there, and so she had the flu or something get a hold of her.
I was just telling Dad about an hour ago or so. I've had a cold chill for like the last hour a little bit, but I don't know. I put on a hoodie there for a little bit, and then we sit down and do this, and with these lights, I knew better. I'll be burning up, but Marcus out here breaking his own damn record.
And I didn't actually think it was going to break last year's record, but if something drastic happens, we only got a dozen to go to even match it. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get
So
started.
I'll let you get
If
started.
it's okay, we'll start with the independent wrestling update. We'll start with the first show that we went to this week, Wednesday night, DCCW. It was called At the Lion's Den, right? If I remember correctly. That was at the Gaston Fair. I thought it was a real solid show. I really enjoyed it. The highlight for me, there was a couple of them. The Logan Myers and Jake Oman match was a great wrestling match. Pure wrestling. It was really good. Really loved it. And also the U.S. title three-way match with JKO, Dalton Love, and now your new United States champion for DCCW, Luke Savage, who won that match. Them were the two real highlights. The Dex Royal Maleko, the rookie Maleko, maybe a second or third match. Took on the highlight reel. That was a real good match also. Really wasn't a bad match on the card, but I was really impressed with the show. The one-man crew and Brody Botkins was a good big man match. So it was a good show. Marcus, what do you think?
Oh, I agree 100%. Now we are on this. I made a mistake of commentary and was corrected, so I have an announcement, and I did not get paid for this one. This is a, what do they call them, a rebuttal? A correction. Waterboy Cameron Stewart defeated Max Sterling on rookie.
Oh.
He didn't defeat one of the reels. And
Okay.
he told me that, and I said, oh, well, I'll make sure So, Cameron, I apologize. You're right. It was Max Sterling. So, yeah, he defeated Max Sterling rookie night. And it was good to see him on the card.
Yeah.
And against what we call the extreme veteran, because it was his second match, and TJ Powers is 40 years worth of matches. Refracted or something like that. I don't know. Type it out. But I can hear it. And again, like seeing Maliko on his second match too. So
yeah,
it's good to see those rookies getting right out there.
Oh yeah, and very impressive. Both of them did a great job. Chris, what do you think?
I thought it was another real good show by DCCW. My favorite two matches was probably the triple threat with JKO, Dalton Love, and Luke Savage, and it was cool to see. It's cool seeing Savage win a title, and then I really liked the Logan Myers Jake Oman match. I thought that was a real good wrestling match. But then, like you said, the tag team match with Maleko and Dex Royal in the highlight reel was real good. There really wasn't a bad match on the card. So I mean, I thought it was another great night for DCCW.
The main event could have been better.
I was going to say I've been my only complaint is
the main event was
a little quick.
Yeah, that'd be my only criticism.
About that. That was like, what the hell? Tony ran off. He turned around and it was over.
Yeah, I didn't even see it. I went to talk to G.W.R and turned around because I let one man crew step in. You know, he wanted to do a little commentary. I said, "Hey, man, you can have my seat." So I went over there to talk to him. I think I said one word, and my back was turned. It was over. I'm like, "What the hell's going on?"
Where are you at, Glenn?
He's in.
He's flying back from Atlanta.
Yeah, he's in Atlanta.
Oh, so he's actually on an airplane. Okay.
I
Well,
think
that never makes sense now. Then.
Yeah, he's flying back from Atlanta.
Yeah, he should have been already. I think almost back, but they was having some storms and stuff, so he got delayed.
How's it going, Chris?
I'll see Chris Sunday in GW.
Yeah, that'd been the only complaint I would have had was the main event. I could have been done a little different. I wanted to see the Beaver Boys go. I wanted to see them go with them guys, and didn't get to see it. But other than that, I thought it was another great.
It was a great show.
Another good night.
It kept that show from being an A. That show could have been an A, and the way they the main event knocked it down a little bit, but it still was a great show.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, fantastic. Good crowd, good weather, fantastic.
Oh yeah. And
couldn't ask for much better weather, really.
No.
Wasn't too hot. It was pretty hot. When was it? Jay County show.
Yeah, it was pretty warm.
Hey, how's it going, Damien?
Hey, Damien. Next up, we had
Yeah.
Mark. Did you want to talk any about the WCWO show for Friday night?
Alrighty. Went down to the Dub for Friday Night Thunder. There was 3 guys on this one that made their debuts at WCWO, but they were already seasoned wrestlers. They're from Eric Draven's Supreme Wrestling from down in Madison.
Okay.
So they're trained, seasoned wrestlers. They just never made. This was their first time at the Dub. Nice guys. They all introduced themselves to us. So Max Sterling defeated Charlie Key. He's one of those guys. Brody Bodkins defeated Derek Winter, which is another one of the Madison guys. Jake Phoenix defeated Cousin Cooter. And then Brother Blaze defeated Tajon Cage via submission. I'm not quite sure what that hold was, but it was pretty brutal. I probably would have thrown the towel in if he was my manager. If I was his manager, it looked pretty wicked. Then Jackson Morgan defeated Tanner Saturn. That's another one of those guys. And in the main event, Maleko, in his 3rd match, now has a win over Hidari. It was a non-title match for the territorial title. It was not on the line, but Brody Bodkins come out and distracted Hidari, so Maleko rolled him up, got the pin. I'm not quite sure how they're going to do Hidari and Brody Bodkins. They're working on something there, but Brody's leaving the end of the month, so I don't know what they're going with that. So
Yeah.
So probably about 30 people. It was an all right show. That's all I could say.
Okay. And I'm gonna go. I probably should go to the next one but I'm gonna hold off on that real quick. I got a little bit of a rant. If Marcus, because you see so many shows, if I'm wrong, you tell me I'm wrong. This is a shout out to the promoters as a fan, and going as a commentator to all these shows. I wish we would see more promoters reach out and try to get as many different wrestlers on the shows as they can. I know that you got your normal guys, and I understand that, and you don't want to let those guys down and not have them have an opportunity for a payday or whatever. But as a promoter, I think that if you bring in some different guys and mix it up more, I think you're going to have a better chance of keep drawing better crowds. And I would just like to see. I know Kokomo has done that, bringing in some different talent. I know DCCW tries to. I think WCW tries to, especially. I mean, they need to, especially when you have 52 shows a year on Friday nights. But I would just like to see more people get opportunity to work different places, even if it's only 2 or 3 times a year that person comes in. I know people may think, well, that ruins the storylines, but what do you think, Marcus?
Well, I agree. NGW does really good with that, bringing people in, different. I see all kinds of people from around hit NGW. BMFX brings in people I've never even seen before. I don't know where he's getting half those guys at sometimes, but yeah, and the Dubs really good at rotating people out. Oh yeah, I'm always good at, but the thing is trained. I think Damien DeVille hit that earlier. I want to see trained wrestlers. I don't want to see, here, I got this pair of boots, now put me in the ring, and then they put him in the ring and like, oh, okay, whoopee. But yeah, if there's solid trained wrestlers, yeah, I'd love to see new guys.
Yeah.
That makes the product, keeps it from getting stale.
Oh, definitely. And I'd just like to see a little bit more of that. And again, I'm not pointing anybody out or putting anybody down. I think all the promotions do a good job. That's just a criticism that I think I have of all the promotions. I'd like to see a little bit more diversity, I guess, maybe. It might be the right word. What do you think, Chris?
No, I agree with you. But I think the only reason I think you don't see more of it is egos. You get promoters that don't. I'm not going to use this guy because he works at this promotion. Or I'm not going to use this guy because of this or that, or he works here, or there's another promotion in the same town and he wrestles on that promotion, so I can't use him here. Well, you don't always get the same fans at both shows, even if they're in the same town. Hell, I know in Muncie there's 2 different promotions here, and it's 2 completely different fan bases. I mean, there's a few fans that go to both, but I mean, there's a good portion that go to one and go to the other. So I think it benefits both. It benefits all promotions to use different talent because, I mean, there's always different fans there. Even if you get the same group of fans a lot, there's some new fans there that maybe not seen your product before. So I can understand having some of the old guys, but if you got the same fans coming every time and just the same wrestlers, I mean, you can only do that show so many times before it starts to feel like you've seen it before.
But I also understand, you've got your group of people that works with you all the time, so you don't. It makes it tough. I mean, if you've got your
you got your loyal guy, you got your loyal guys as your loyal workers as well. So I mean, it makes it hard.
Yeah, it would make it difficult. So I'm not saying it's an easy job to be a promoter, and I've heard Joey say that it's very difficult, and sometimes he wishes he wasn't a promoter. I've heard Jared Bird says that. Well, he was on this a week or so ago. Said that he'd never had plans to be a promoter, and it's very tough. So it's just a small criticism. I'm not hammering on nobody. I don't want anybody to take it that way. Next up, we was at a show this past Sunday. Chris, I forget the name of it. It was
Summit Pro.
Summit Pro, but the name of the
like how you forget?
No, the name is Turn the Page.
Turn the Page.
Yeah, I knew Summit Pro, but I couldn't remember the name of the thing.
Summit Pro.
You're a big help. Okay, Chris. Okay.
Summit Pro champion of Summit Pro.
Yeah, that's right. I love it. Oh, Hadley. I'm the Summit Pro champion of Summit Pro. And you see that he power slammed in front of 58,000 people.
Yeah,
Hillbilly Jed. That's what he said.
I'd like to know where that show took place. Actually.
Yeah, I didn't see a power slam, and even though they did have a nice little crowd, there wasn't no 58,000 there.
At the Hadley Dome.
At the Hadley Dome. Well, I wasn't at the Hadley Dome. Maybe there was something going on a little bit later that night.
Where's that at?
Yeah,
I'd like to be in the Hadley Dome.
I thought we seen a pretty good show Sunday. Opened up with Nikki and Kenny Cage in an arm wrestling match, and it went pretty much how we thought it would go with Cage and Hadley cheating and winning that. But the big part of that was Kenny Cage got to be the referee for the main event, and as we'll get to, that made a huge difference in the match. The highlight for me, of course, seeing Jeremy Hadley and Hillbilly Jed was they put on a great show, and Cage and Nikki, they did a great job. It was very entertaining. But the highlight for me was Sage Phillips and Dylan Coe. Dylan Coe got to be one of the most improved in the last 6 months, doing a great job. And Sage Phillips, I'll give him a shout out, man. All you promoters out there, you should be looking to book him. I think he does a great job of entertaining and a great job of wrestling.
Yes, he does.
And Walter's just putting over that match too. So. But it was really good. I did see something that I never thought I'd see. Chris, you know the name of it. But
what's up, Walter? I didn't know Walter was still out there. Hadn't seen him for so long.
Didn't know if he's still kicking. The Natter Day Saints and 8-Bit Punks, and they run a new guy to the ring. I forget his name.
Dynamite
something. What was that thing called that he did?
I don't know what the hell it was called, but he put on
a glove.
I think that was Damien's glove that he wears out to the ring, if I remember correctly. But he punched the center of the ring, and it was like I called it a thunder punch, but he just knocked everybody out of the ring like a video game. It was like a video game where he caused an earthquake and
pretty much. I call it a Hawk Smash, but again, but it pretty much ended everything. So,
Marcus, have you watched it?
Yes, I was watching it when you were live. I was.
He was. But
I'm like
have you ever seen anything like that before?
No, but with those two teams being more comical than wrestlers, it worked perfect.
Yeah,
especially when he pulled that duck hunt gun out, and
yeah.
I heard the fans had their hands up in the air.
Every fan in there. I even put my hands up. That was very good. That was very funny, I will have to say.
I knew it was going to be a crazy match as soon as I saw them two were together. I was like, that's going to be good.
Another real good match on the show was Kevin Canyon and Jordan Dye. I thought that was very good.
Surprise ending on that, I thought.
Yeah. But a very good match there, too. And me and Marcus talked earlier today. If I had any criticism of the show, very small, I would like to see Juwan Thomas and Anthony Lee go a little longer. It was a good match, but man, I would like to see them go another 5 minutes and continue to beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah,
but
or
that
even
was
they can run a
story. That'd be
they can run that.
That would be yes, that would be my only criticism if I had any. And pretty solid show, I thought. They've ever since that. I think they found the groove ever since that fair show, man. I've seen a few new faces in the crowd, decent crowd. So Summit Pro's doing a good job.
Yeah, I thought it was a real solid show. I thought my favorite match of the day was the Cole and Phillips match. I thought that was the match of the event, but Hadley and Jed didn't disappoint. They put on a show just like I thought they would.
I'll give the timing was down for that match perfect on that main event. Nikki hitting Jed in the head, getting kicked out. I mean, the timing was just spot on that match.
Yeah, it was. They did a really good job. And they're doing. They don't probably do as many storylines as War Pro, but they do a couple of storylines. They do a main storyline and maybe another Cole storyline. Is what they kind of do. And I think they do a real good job of it. Summit Pro's doing a good job.
And I think Cavron Canyon keeps getting better and better about every time we see him.
Yes, I agree with that. 100%.
Him and Dye put on. I thought they put on a good show, and Dye was in top form. Top form with his working the crowd and shit talking yesterday. He was on point.
Yeah, he was. Well, so was Jeremy Hadley. Hadley, but I think he about assaulted about every person in the crowd at one point.
Those guys are great.
Fantastic.
Jordan Dye's another one that needs booked more places too. I mean, in fact, everybody is really.
Yeah.
So, Billy.
Well, I think.
How's it going, Billy?
Well, next up, we'll do our thoughts and reactions to SummerSlam. Then right after that, we'll do our best matches we've seen live. We've got our Indiana Wrestlers, and then if we have time, I've got a few little things on who was better, and it's a AWA version.
Yeah, Kelly's feeling somewhat better. She's still running a fever right at 100, and her head hurts, but she's better than she was, Billy. She's in bed for 2 days.
Did you say her head?
So, thanks for asking.
What?
Indiana Wrestlers.
That's the one I do, right?
Yeah, you had me confused. I was like, wait a minute.
Why that boy program there, Tony?
See, he don't tell me nothing.
It's his show, and he don't even know what's going on.
I could tell him, and he still wouldn't know. So what difference does it make? Okay, WWE Summerslam. Marcus, what did you think? I know you watched the show.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was. I'd give it maybe a B.
Okay.
We all talked at the Shayna Baszler. Yeah, her match was not that fantastic. It sucked. I don't know what else to say.
Let me ask Damien real quick on that, Marcus, because Damien's did that type of fighting, cage fighting and stuff. Damien, what did you think of the Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler match? Get his input on that, because I mean he's done that type of fighting.
What did Walt put about the 20th? I didn't get to read all that.
Oh, about FEW and Greenfield on the 20th.
Yeah, we should be there, Walt, that day. It's on our calendar.
Oh, he was talking about the ambulance getting called at the last show.
Yeah, we should be there for the next one. Yeah, I brought that up a few weeks ago after that show where they called the ambulance on for Cody.
It's kind of what Marcus kind of said, because the first part of the match, it didn't look like it was going real hard. I thought when Shayna got hit with a knee, I thought it kind of kicked in more.
It's almost like they were like, this isn't making sense. We need to go harder. Because first half of that match, before she pulled her mouthpiece out, was they were going through the motions, but they weren't hardly making contact. It's like, this is MMA. You got to make it look a little more presentable, and then they really got to hitting each other. But
how's it going, TJ?
I think the way that match was booked, I think they put the two wrestlers, and I think they was put into a tough situation. That's just my opinion.
They should have left that.
Yeah, I think it should have been booked as like a hardcore match or no holds barred, and they were just everywhere.
Yep,
I think it went over better with the crowd.
I agree. What was your favorite match on the show, Marcus? Or what couple matches stood out to you?
Let's see what I had. Gunther and McIntyre is my favorite for the night. Cody and Brock was okay. But yeah, Gunther and McIntyre was my favorite. The main event was good, but of course, if Roman Reigns could defend the title one-on-one, he probably wouldn't have it. But yeah, that was my favorite. A lot of people were critical about that first match, Logan Paul and Ricochet. Because after it was over, Facebook kind of lit up that they didn't care for that, and I thought it was good myself.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the Logan Paul Ricochet match was really good. That match, the Cody Rhodes match, the Gunther Drew McIntyre, the Seth Rollins match, and Finn Balor. Them 4 matches were my favorite 4, all real close. I really liked Cody and Brock, I think, the best, because I liked the way they laid it out, making Cody go through so much hell and then pulling out the victory, and then Brock, and not planned too. It turned out not planned that Brock kind of put Cody over, shaking his hand and raising his hand and everything, giving him a hug.
Yeah,
I like that a lot, and that was not planned. Triple H didn't know about it. Cody didn't know about it. Nobody knew about it. That was something that Brock did. So I enjoyed that. And a lot of people have been complaining about the Roman Reigns Uso match. They said that makes sense that Jimmy turned. I think if people will go back and if they watch the shows, the SmackDowns and stuff, it made perfect sense. And I'm not saying I called it, because I didn't. I didn't think Jimmy was going to turn. So I'm not saying that I knew. I'm glad I didn't know. I think some people get upset because when they don't know and they get surprised by something, I think some of them get butthurt, unfortunately. But I think it's better that way, not to know. But if you go back and watch, there was little Easter eggs. The whole time they said that Jimmy was in the hospital, Paul Heyman was saying that it was all Jay's fault. It was Jimmy was in the hospital. Before Jay turned on Roman Reigns and he was talking to Jimmy, Jimmy admitted that he was jealous of Jay, and he at one point thought he should be the head of the table. And Jay let that go, and he turned on Roman. So I mean, the story was there. So
Billy Cody won the match between Brock and Cody.
Yes.
Well, I figured Jimmy'd show up. I didn't expect him to turn, but I knew he had to be showing up, just like Koa or whatever the other guy, Koa.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty well done. I didn't think, and I knew you really loved the last pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, because you give it an A. You really enjoyed it, and I agree with you. I think Money in the Bank was just a little bit better. I think the wrestling on this one, for me, might have been a little bit better. I just think the other show was a more exciting show the way it was laid out.
Yeah, so this is one of their major ones. It should have been. This is one of the major 4. It should have been. I'm not just. If they had gotten rid of the MMA match, I think it would have given it a higher grade, in my opinion.
Let me ask you something too. It was brought up to us earlier today by a guy that watches the shows and stuff. I don't think he's on there right now, but he was on earlier today, and he didn't think SummerSlam seemed big enough. Do you think them cutting down the entrance instead of having the big stage, and you don't really have the big stage and a lot of fireworks and all that stuff, not having that, do you think that makes a difference in people's eyes?
I don't know. No, I think WrestleMania ought to have the long stage, and that they should just leave it for that one because that is the major one.
Yeah, I wonder because some people they get used to that, and WWE's purposely cut down their staging for most of the shows so they can get more people in. More, you can get more fans in that way. So I think I wonder if that makes a difference.
Now I got an interesting question to ask you. Something to think about. Did you see Cody sign that girl's hat? He's heading back. He's heading back from the match. One of those ringside ladies handed him a hat and a marker, and he signed it. Did you see that? What do you think the hat's worth? And do you think it'll come up on a Hidden Treasures down in like 3 years? They'll go looking for that hat.
It could be. You never know.
Well, what do you think that hat? Because that hat signed on SummerSlam on TV or on. It's not pay-per-view anymore, but
yeah.
And you got proof. What do you think that hat was? It's one of a kind.
And another thing, I was going to ask everybody out there and see what they think. And I asked Chris this earlier too. Do you think that was? I know he beat Brock before, but now he won the series, best out of 3. He won 2 of them. Do you think that might be Cody's biggest win of his career?
Yes.
I think so too. I couldn't think of anything in AEW. I mean, I know he started the company and stuff, but I mean, as far as match wise, I couldn't think of anything any bigger. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you're talking about a guy who beat 16 Hall of Famers.
Has he had any 5-star matches in AEW from Meltzer?
Yes, and he had one in WWE. They give him a 5-star match when he took on Seth Rollins in Hell in a Cell.
What did he get this weekend?
I haven't heard yet. But I think that's his biggest win. And but I thought it was a good show. I was happy with it. I mean, I do think that Money in the Bank might have been just a little bit better. I think also a thing that could have hurt it, Marcus. I'm not a big fan of 4 hours. I don't think we need 4-hour shows.
Well, it went past midnight. I was surprised. I kept watching the clock. It's like.
Yeah, I think I'd prefer 3.5 hours is plenty for me.
That's what it used to be because I remember the VHS tape shows used to be 3-hour VHS pay-per-views.
I thought you liked those like 14-match shows.
No, I'll save that for Walter.
See, we hadn't even brought up. We got a new ladies title holder.
Yes,
she cashed in her Money in the Bank. I kind of seen that coming too. It was the perfect opportunity for it to happen.
That was another match that I thought started off slow. And picked up halfway through it and then got real good. I love the finish. We talked about earlier about how Bianca hit that move perfectly on Flair, and Flair
was her being up in the air like that.
It got down just if you see it in slow motion, she got down right in the nick of time. I thought that was a big move. I liked the way they was all tied up together and the way she pulled that win off, and then Io Sky coming out and winning the championship. I thought that was a big moment too. So they had some pretty good moments there. Gunther and McIntyre beat the crap out of each other.
So are you able to buy referee shirts from the shop zone? Because if you looked at the audience, you could see like 5 or 6 people wearing a red. Why?
Yeah, I did see a few people with referee shirts on in the crowd. I did see that. I don't know.
Yeah, they got the WWE logo on the pockets like they were genuine ref shirts. Like,
I still think Billy Buzz is asking about Cody. I think Cody is going to be in WrestleMania, and I think he's going to be the one to beat Roman. Yeah. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I agree with that too.
But we'll see. I mean, things can change, but that's my belief.
We still got 9 months, so yeah.
Still got a long way to go, and but I thought it was a good show. I thought it was real good for LA Knight to get the victory in the Battle Royal. I thought it was a decent Battle Royal, but that was more about the moment of him.
Everybody predicted that too. I mean, that was a surprise.
But yeah, but putting out Sheamus and AJ Styles, I think was a nice thing for him to help elevate him. So I thought that was done pretty good.
I was 8 for 8 on my predictions.
Yeah, he went 8 for 8 in all his picks. I went 7 for 8.
Should have went with that sports betting thing.
Yeah, I missed. I picked Asuka to win. That was my one I missed.
Well, I think Asuka's going to now take on Io Sky, as my guess. So they didn't want Asuka to take the pin. See, whenever you do a triple threat, most of those belts are lost when the champion isn't pinned. It's one of the other two.
Yep.
That's why I hate doing triple threats, and unless it's an elimination triple threat where.
Yep.
And we didn't even talk about Balor and Rollins. I thought that was a very good match as well.
Yeah, it was a great match, and they're building up a story there with Judgment Day and them. We'll see where that goes. And I think 3 or 4 matches that was on SummerSlam were there to kind of help start storylines because their next pay-per-view is Payback. It's in a month, so they got to push on. And I think that was one of them that's going to have something to do with Payback. I think we're going to see another Logan Paul Ricochet match. That's my opinion. I'm interested to see what happens tonight, see where Cody goes from here. So, I mean, some good stuff. Billy Buzz, I think if you look probably on the internet, you should be able to find a figure of a referee.
Well, I know they did during the early 80s, they had referee figures, but I hadn't bought a figure unless Kelly runs across one, but I assume you probably could still buy ref figures.
I would think so. It may be hard to find. That's why you might be better looking on the internet.
I know the AWA had one come out, and you'd think Dave Hebner would have a figure or something.
Yeah,
I know the referees get their names. They get they're on trading cards, so you'd think. I knew Damon would know. Okay, Jax has one. Billy had. Go on eBay. Pull up eBay. You can find a lot of stuff on eBay.
Yep. Well, go from there. We're going to go to the best matches that we have seen live, and that was basically WWF, WWE, WCW, ECW. For the most part, major promotions. I know. I don't know if Marcus did, but I did some from WWA. Was from here in Indiana. I did some from there because they stood out to me so much. I had a few of them on mine too.
Yeah,
so
I got a few of them too.
Chris, do you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I went first last time.
Oh, okay. I'll go first then.
Guess he doesn't want to go first.
Okay, I'll go first. I got 12, and I'm gonna do them in order. But my top 12 was my number 12 was something that Marcus just sent me a poster of, or a clip of a poster. Bruiser and Moose Cholak taking on Bulldog Don Kent and Dr. Jerry Graham at the Muncie Fairgrounds Saturday, March 22nd, 1986. Chris was there. He was 6 years old. He probably don't remember it, but it was in a cage match. And again, the reason that stood out to me because crazy Moose Cholak probably weighed about 400 pounds. For some reason, decided he's going to go to the top rope, and he got to the top rope, and I think it was Don Kent was down, and he was going to jump on him. Plan was well. Then next thing I know, all 4 guys are laughing, and Bruiser said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I can't get down." he couldn't jump. He couldn't climb down. All 4 wrestlers are just cracking up laughing. It was insane. It was funny as hell. But that still stands out to me. That was my number 12. My number 11 was seeing. I think Chris will remember this was at Market Square, probably around that time, maybe a little later. The Rockers versus the Powers of Pain, which I just got to see the Powers of Pain again here just recently, many years later. My number 10 was Larry Zbyszko and Kurt Hennig in a match at the Anderson Speedway. I do not remember what year.
Was that an AWA match?
Yes, it was AWA.
Very good. Very good. That's fantastic.
Next was number 9, CM Punk versus JBL at SummerSlam 2008. That was big because my grandson loves CM Punk, and so he got to see him in a big match at SummerSlam. Number 8 was Brutus Beefcake with Miss Elizabeth in his corner, taking on Macho Man Randy Savage at Market Square Arena. That was really good. Except it was supposed to be Hulk Hogan, but Hogan didn't show up. So Beefcake took his place. I won't go crazy. Because Hogan never showed up whenever I went there. But anyway, number 7 was Batista versus John Cena. That was their first match ever against each other. SummerSlam 2008. My number 6 was Undertaker versus The Big Show in a steel cage match at Ball State. I do not remember. I want to say probably 2007, 2008, right around there, because I think Austin was probably Austin was about 7 or so. My number 5 was Undertaker versus Yokozuna in Indianapolis. One-on-one match. My number 4 was Ultimate Warrior versus the Earthquake in a steel cage match at Market Square Arena. My number 3 was Bobby Heenan versus Billy Red Cloud in a chain match. That's the first time I ever seen blood, though Heenan was a bloody mess. That was in Newcastle, Indiana. My number 2 was Bruiser and Crusher taking on the Blackjacks, Blackjack Mulligan, Blackjack Lanza at Newcastle, Indiana. And my number 1 was Undertaker versus Edge, Hell in a Cell, SummerSlam 2008.
I have a lot of the same as you, but like I have Jake Roberts, Market Square, but I can't remember who. Do you remember who he was wrestling?
Might have been Rick Rude.
I was thinking maybe Rick Rude, but I can't. I knew you would know what I'm talking about. I can't.
Could have been Steamboat too.
It could have been.
I remember seeing them both.
Because I'll never forget that, because we had them aisle seats and he held the snake up, and everything. Yep. That's definitely one of my favorite moments out of any live show I've been to. Larry Sabisco at Anderson Speedway.
That was against Kurt Hennig.
I just wrote Larry Sabisco because I can't remember who he was. Yeah, I remember I was 5, 6, 7 years old. I understand. The SummerSlam 2008, of course, I'm going to have those on there, which my favorite's going to be the Edge and Taker Hell in the Cell, just like you.
Yep.
SummerSlam 2008. Then the CM Punk match, too, because of Austin. And then we had Raw. I think it was at Raw with Jericho and Shawn Michaels.
Well, SummerSlam's where Shawn Michaels' wife got hit.
But we was at a Raw and something.
Yeah, we was at Raw. We was at Raw. Bret Hart was there. Stone Cold was there.
When Nexus stuff was going on, we went to a Raw.
Yep.
Beefcake and Savage with Elizabeth. I always remember that because it's supposed to be Hulk Hogan. Never got to see Hulk Hogan.
Yep. Piece of crap.
And them were the ones the ones I had wrote down. I'll be honest with you, I went to a lot more shows when I was a kid than I went to quite a few as I grew up because of Austin.
Yeah.
But then I hadn't been to one for a while until we started doing stuff we've been doing. But I always remember the Jake Roberts because that was.
I remember that. Okay, Marcus.
All right. I got quite a bit. Now, I haven't been to a major promotion since 2001. I got some of them on my list. Hogan and Perfect. Probably about 1989, Damien, if I remember right. Anyway, all right. We're going to try to get these in order. WWA, Dick the Bruiser's WWA. I think I've seen that too, to be honest with you. No, I did not. Flair was always a good Sting every time I seen him. But anyhow, I'm going to rub it in here in a minute, Kelly. You just wait. I done give Tony
Yeah, I knew you was going to.
Because I wrote it down. But anyhow, and that was just what I remembered. WWA. Dick the Bruiser and Yukon Moose Cholak versus Mad Max and Super Max in a street fight. Now, their street fight back then is nothing compared to street fights now because basically the winner was to rip the clothes off the other one until they're down to their wrestling tights. That's all those street fights were back then. There wasn't any weapon of any kind. It was just more like a Texas Tornado match where you rip each other's clothes off. I mean, but it was still pretty good because it was in the first main event I'd ever seen. Of course, Wojo versus Dick the Bruiser, hair versus hair, the Riot, my only Riot. and Wojo versus Bobby Colt. You remember Playboy Bobby Colt?
Yep.
Yep. I like that.
Yeah, I remember.
All right. That was all 1985. 1986, AWA. This was at the Convention Center. No, Coliseum. The WWA was at the Tyndall Armory in Indianapolis. The AWA Coliseum. Calypso Jim, which is Bobo Brazil Jr., and El Bracero taking on the Long Riders. Remember the Long Riders?
Yep.
Michael P.S. Hayes taking on Baron Von Raschke, and Sergeant Slaughter took on Boris Zukov. NWA, now 1988. Flair versus Sting. Road Warriors versus the Powers of Pain. Dr. Death Steve Williams versus Tully Blanchard. And the Fantastics taking on the Midnight Express.
That would have been good to see.
ECW, that was at the Convention Center there off of, was the Hoosier Dome at the time. ECW, of course, that was Taz versus Mike Awesome for the title change. WCW, and I'm sure I have more there.
Hey Marcus, can you repeat that ECW one? Because you kind of froze.
Okay, it was Taz versus Mike Awesome.
Yep.
For the title change.
Yes.
WCW.
Sorry. I got excited.
I was excited too when I was there, though, but I know you're not. You're watching your baseball. I know what you're doing. But anyway, WCW.
Reds took a lead.
Let me know when you're ready for me to
WCW.
continue. Are you ready, Chris? Are you ready? I'm like the
We're
teacher,
ready.
Chris. All right. Now you got me laughing. WCW. Steamboat versus Pillman in a cage. Lex Luger versus Nikita Koloff. Sting versus Jake Roberts. Sting versus Cactus Jack. Sting versus Ric Flair 2 times. And one of those Sting versus Flair had Dick the Bruiser as the special guest referee. WWE. All right. Here we go, guys. Kelly and I are going to rub it in. You ready? Hulk Hogan versus Adrian Adonis. One-man gang. Orndorff, Killer Khan, Earthquake in a stretcher match. Sergeant Slaughter in a Desert Storm match. Hogan versus Kurt Hennig, and Hogan and Beefcake taking on Money Incorporated. So I got to see Hogan a lot. He must like me.
He must have. I tell you what.
All those were at Market Square Arena except the Killer Khan, and that was at the State Fair out there in the grandstands.
Well, I was gonna say we'd probably at those shows, but it wasn't because Hogan never showed up when he was at Market Square Arena when we went.
Nope, not one time. It was 3 or 4 times we went and he never showed.
All right.
Were you at any of the shows that he never showed? They didn't show.
No, Hogan was at everyone.
When we went was before was well, could have been a year or so before and during when Elizabeth and Savage broke up. So that's probably what, about 88,
9?
88, yeah, probably 87, 88, 89 when we were going.
I guess the rest of these are all WWF. Kamala versus George Animal Steel. George Steele versus Randy Savage. JYD versus Cowboy Bob Orton. Sergeant Slaughter versus Ultimate Warrior in a cage. Well, I've seen him all the way. The only one that didn't show up one night was Rick Rude, I think.
We saw Warrior a lot, but Hogan was our no-show guy.
Stone Cold Steve Austin defeating Kurt Angle for the title. That was a Monday Night Raw, the very last big-time show I'd ever been to. Legion of Doom versus Powers of Pain. Legion of Doom versus Demolition. Well, that Legion of Doom and Ultimate Warrior versus Demolition. They had all 3 of them. Mankind versus Undertaker in the Buried Alive match. Dusty Rhodes and Sapphire versus Savage and Queen Sherry. Big John Studd versus the Big Boss Man, and the Ultimate Warrior versus Ric Flair. And those were all off the top of my head.
Damien had a question for Marcus Chris.
Yes, I was. Kelly won tickets through Spencer Gifts, and we got those tickets for free. That was the day I seen, and well, if you was there, you did too, the debut of The Undertaker, because he'd only been wrestling for 3 or 4 months, and he wrestled Tugboat. And he really was nobody yet, but he still put the chills down my spine when he come out.
Oh yeah, we got to see the Taker quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that Hell in a Cell, him and Edge. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was really good.
In there for that.
Well, that's considered one of the top 5 SummerSlams of all time. Lucky enough to go to.
That he said on the aisleway.
Well, I'd like to see those pictures if you know where they're at. We were up in one of the Market Square was a good place because no matter where you sit, you had was Savage even on the card that night? I don't think Savage was on because Queen Sherry came out with Sergeant Slaughter that night. And then Warrior basically stripped her as far down the naked as you can get, ripped her shirt off. She's down to just bra and panties, really, by the time he got done with her.
Yeah, I always got good seats. We had front row, second row, third row, aisle seats. We always did pretty well getting tickets.
Yeah, Market Square was a good place. No matter where you sat in that building, you had a good seat.
I don't know which show it was, but I do remember. I think it happened back to back. It was funny because my wife took my little 3 or 4-year-old daughter at the time to the restroom and starts to walk into the ladies' room, and there's Akeem and Lanny Poffo coming out of the ladies' bathroom. They had took a shower and they went in there to comb their hair. I guess he wanted to go comb his hair, so they was coming out. And of course, my wife, I got pictures of that somewhere with my little daughter who was super little compared to One Man Gang. And then they leave there to go to the concession stand, and there's Luke and Butch, the Bushwhackers, getting a Coke.
Eat hot dogs.
And she got to meet all at the same time. Of course, we're sitting in our damn seats. I wish I'd have went to the bathroom and get the Cokes, but of course I didn't.
I wish you went to the bathroom. David, I
don't think it worked out quite as well for you.
No, not the women's bathroom. No, not to the women's bathroom. No, nobody take that out of context.
My mom took a lot of photos with a kind of like a Reggie camera, I'd say, except it was a digital, it was actual film. And I got a whole album upstairs of WWF matches that she had taken, and I ought to dig those out and start showing them to people.
Yeah.
Lots of Hogan, a lot of stuff in there.
That'd be the only way we get to see him. Well, Marcus, are you ready to do your...
We can fly to, where is it, Florida?
Florida.
Go to Hogan's Hangout?
You better have $300. You want to see him. Because he's ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But you might see Brian Knobbs down there, too, because Brian Knobbs is up Hogan's ass all the time. You ever see him there with Hogan, Brian Knobbs is right there with him. So.
Yep.
Okay, I got one guy this week. Tough Enough won. He was a runner-up, Josh Matthews. And the only reason this came up is because I knew he was from Indiana, but he never showed up in any of my papers. But I got a lot of dirt on him. I wouldn't say dirt, a lot of history. So Josh Matthews was a runner-up. Maven and Nadia won the Tough Enough and Tough Enough Season 1.
Yep.
And then it was Josh Matthews, Nowinski, and Taylor Matheny, I think her name was the 3 runner-ups.
Yeah.
Christopher Nowinski ended up going on to WWE. Josh Matthews did too.
Yep.
When Josh Matthews
Matthews
never wrestled, he was always a commentator.
Yeah, he's working for behind the scenes now, I think, for Impact.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'll get into that. It's in here. I see Josh Matthews take on Ryan Paradise at the second EWF arena there in the old garage, because Josh Matthews was in season 1. Ryan Paradise went to try out for season 2, and he didn't make the cut, but he was there, so they had the two wrestle each other. But Josh Matthews didn't really become a wrestler; he became a commentator and interviewer. And born November 25th, 1980, Griffith, Indiana. As Tony said, he's currently signed with Impact Wrestling, play-by-play commentator. He's married to Madison Rain currently.
I did not know that.
He's trained by Al Snow, Ivory, Taz in Tough Enough season 1. Debuted in 2001, and of course, like I say, he lost to Maven, and Maven ended up winning it. Speaking of Maven just started a YouTube channel. There's only about 8 videos. You might want to check some of those. He talks about his time in WWE, how he got paid. It's just interesting stuff. He was talking about, if you're on the road, you get this much, and if you're not, you're to get this much. And who he liked and who he didn't. You ought to watch some of those.
Okay.
Maven Huffman. There's only about 8 of them, but they're pretty good to watch. 2002 backstage interview for SmackDown. That's what he started. They must have brought him in 2002 to be a backstage interviewer, and he was also the announcer on Velocity, which I think was the Sunday afternoon CD show.
Yeah.
It was, you don't have nothing better to do, you watch that. If you have anything better to do, go do it, because the Velocity really wasn't worth watching. He did host the WWE webcast, Bite This. And then you guys might remember some of this. JBL slapped Josh during an interview for disrespecting JBL's chief of staff, Orlando Jordan.
I remember.
And then he ended up teaming with Booker T to take on JBL and Orlando, and they won, but then Orlando attacked him. And then they later got a match between Josh Matthews and Orlando Jordan one-on-one. And he ended up winning from help from Booker T. He got possessed by The Undertaker on December 9, 2005, SmackDown, while he was interviewing Randy Orton. I got to go back and watch that.
Yep.
Because that's back when Undertaker was possessing everybody. I had to make sure that's what I wrote down there. I said, surely I think what that says. I have him as a commentator on Velocity, SmackDown, ECW, NXT, Raw, most of WrestleMania 27 until Stone Cold stunned him. Saturday Morning Slam in the main event. And then, of course, he worked for TNA after it was released from WWE, went to TNA, and was a lead announcer. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, he just stopped being the lead announcer here recently, I think. And like I said, he's working at a backstage role, pretty high up.
What are you wanting there, Damien, about the possession? Because that's kind of what do.
No, the what I think was when you said you said he was married to Madison Rain, because that surprised me.
Yeah, he's married to Madison Rain.
Maybe. I'm not sure that was Damon Watton or not, but maybe.
At Slammiversary 15, he teamed with Scott Steiner and lost to Jeremy Borash and something Park. I'm not sure what that says.
Well, probably if it's can't think of the one guy's name. It was the other guy. It was kind of like Mankind.
Joe, is that right? Jeremy Borash, Joe, something Park. I can't read my writing now.
Trying to think, what was the dude's name? What was the big guy they had there in Impact? The great big guy wrestled in all those hardcore matches. Kind of like remind me a little bit of Mick Foley.
Are you talking? See, now you're going to make me do that. Because he was from around
Abyss.
Abyss, yeah.
Yeah, his real name is something Parks.
That may be who it is. Abyss used to work around here a lot.
Yeah, I think he went by Joseph Parks or something like that.
Well, that
And
may
he
be what
wrestled-
that says. Oh, that is what that says.
Yep, yep.
Thank you. Jeremy
And-
Borash and Joseph Park. Yep, that is what that says. I put a split in there. Okay. Matt Sydal gifted Josh the Impact Grand Championship, and Matt defended the belt on Josh's behalf and lost to Austin Aries. And then I have now he fills in as commentator when Matt Stryker isn't available, and like I said, he's backstage now at Impact. So he didn't win tough enough, but he did have a pretty good career as a anything but a wrestler.
Yeah, he's had a long career.
So, like I said, I really didn't think to get that much to come up, but it did. So that's the only one I have this week.
That was good. The last thing I have is AWA. Who was better? And what was interesting about this, because I told Marcus about that list, and he looked at it. It was kind of surprising how they did that list. I don't know, but anyway, their number one was Vern Gagne, which didn't surprise me. But maybe the people can help out here and see what their opinions are. This may be Chris is not going to know very many of these names. He's going to know a few, but not very many. But on their list, the number one, Vern Gagne, and I put him up against number 6, Nick Bockwinkel. Who was better, Vern Gagne or Nick Bockwinkel?
You know who I think? I think Nick.
I think Nick too. Of course, Vern Gagne was champion a lot more. Of course, he owned the company. So,
Yeah, when he owned the company, but
I
Nick
thought
was
Marcus was going to say Vern. Just because I've heard Marcus talk lonely of Vern so much, I figured he was going to say Vern.
Who?
see, Damien took Vern. I agree with you, Marcus. I think Nick. See if anybody else says what they think. Where's Billy Buzz at? He was around. He's probably watching around that time. I don't know if he got to see much AWA though.
I take it David Kraft ain't on the night either. I hadn't seen
Does
nothing.
not be. Next one, an interesting one. Number 2 was Mad Dog Vachon, which I think that's a little bit overrated in my opinion. The number 9 was Crusher. I got them two against each other. Crusher or Mad Dog Vachon. What do you think, Marcus?
Mad Dog.
Mad Dog? You think Mad Dog's overrated at number 2?
Yeah, because I thought Nick should have been number 2.
Yep.
Yeah, Mad Dog. Yeah, and if you ask Rob Pugh, he'd say Crusher because, like I said,
yeah,
it's the area. But I like Mad Dog over Crusher.
Damien liked Crusher too. Man, that's tough for me because I've seen Crusher a lot more than I did Mad Dog. So it's tough. I think I might go Crusher too just because of that. But it's tough. Next was the number 3 was Larry Zbyszko. Number 4 was Rick Martel.
I think Zbyszko's up too high because he didn't really do anything until the end. I'm going to go Martel because Martel is a heck of a champion.
Well, Martel was champion in AWA.
Well, so was Zbyszko there at the end.
Yeah.
But because he beat
I think Martel too.
Well, bigger star or better?
Better.
All around better. Martel is.
Yeah, I'd say Martel.
Yeah. Next, number 8, Stan Hansen against number 5, Kurt Hennig.
No, you're going to have to go perfect.
Are you talking just in AWA or over their career?
I think more towards AWA. That list was for AWA only.
And see, that makes no sense that he made it so high. Stan Hansen got pissed off because he wasn't being pushed as champion, and he quit.
Yep.
Ran over the title and everything and sent it back. I don't know why he'd be up so high. You're right, Damien. Martel is
I agree with you,
overrated.
Yeah, Martel.
I agree with that. Martel should be in the Hall of Fame, and I don't believe he is.
If you watch that where he won that title of Jumbo Shruda, that's just classic. That's like watching, well, not as fast as Logan and Omen was, but that's pretty scientific.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Martel is super underrated. I like Martel.
I thought this guy was pretty low on this list. Number 24, Baron von Raschke, and number 7, which this must have been in the 60s for AWA because he wrestled in Indy and he was okay. Dr. Bill Miller. They had Bill Miller 7.
He must have had, like you said, he must have had a career well long before I ever seen him. Pork,
See,
I don't know if I've ever seen Bill Miller footage. I always just
I'm not saying that Baron Von Raschke should be number 2, but I would take Von Raschke over Mad Dog Vachon.
no, I wouldn't do that.
See, that's just me personally because I've seen Von Raschke so much. I never got to see Mad Dog that much. Damien DeVille don't even know who Bill Miller is.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I
Bill
don't
Miller had a feud with Bruiser a few times. That's what I said. Bill Miller, there's not a lot about him. I don't know why he's up so high on that.
Yeah, Damien, I didn't know who Bill Miller was.
Yeah.
Either.
His stories, I don't think I've ever seen him. I just remember what my dad used to tell me.
Yeah, I've seen him wrestle. Yeah,
Wasn't he a vet? Dr. Bill Miller, wasn't he the vet?
He may have been. Next was number 22, Jim Bronzell, against number 26, Greg Gagne.
Oh, okay. Well, it's Brunzell because Greg Gagne got it because of his dad. Greg Gagne was not that great. I mean, now Greg Gagne can cut a heck of a shoot interview. You go on YouTube and listen. The guy's got a mind for the business, but he didn't know how to work in the business.
And he was really small, skinny wise, and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, Jim Brunzell was the was it for Jim Brunzell? Greg Gagne would have no.
And I think both these guys should have been higher up on the list. I think that was too low. 41, Larry the Axe Henning. 42, Jerry Blackwell.
You know how I feel about Blackwell. Larry was just as big. Them two wrestling each other been like watching One Man Crew and Brody Botkins.
But Larry the Axe Henning was pretty big in AWA. I'm surprised that he was only 42. I don't think he was champion a lot. I think he might have been tag team champion some, but he was a mainstay. I mean, he was one of the bigger names. And Blackwell did real well too. I don't know which one I pick on that one. So I really was a big fan of Blackwell also. Now this is going to surprise some people on the list but you can't go by WWE. Number 32, Marty Jannetty, against number 46, Shawn Michaels.
No, we had that talk the other day. In the AWA, Marty Jannetty was the superior wrestler. In the AWA. Once they jumped ship to WWE, Shawn really did go over him for ability, but in the AWA, Marty Jannetty was the better of the two.
Next one was number 28, Blackjack Lanza, against number 29, Ken Patera.
And you got to kind of go with Lanza. Even though Patera had a successful AWA career, I'm still going to have to go with Lanza because he had a better one. If you bring up AWA, who are they going to tell you? If you go tell me your best AWA match, you're going to say Bruiser, Crusher, and the Blackjacks. They're not going to. Patera probably won't even make that list.
Yeah. This is my last one. Number 27, Ray Stevens, against number 23, Bobby Duncombe. I didn't understand how you have Duncombe ahead of Stevens.
No, hell no. Stevens could run circles.
He was a mainstay.
Yeah, Stevens could run circles around Bobby Duncombe. I don't know how Bobby got so high on that list.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird list, I thought. But you seen it, Marcus. I thought you agreed too.
As soon as I'm done with my Indiana Spotlight series, whenever that may be, I have a top whatever Kelly found of the Indiana-born wrestling personality list. But I'll do that once we get further down the end.
Yeah, Billy, but it's still early.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
And this is what kind of got planned for next week. Chris, pay attention to this so you know what's going on. Okay?
Pay attention, Chris. It's your show, but you're not in charge.
For next Monday, August the 14th, we'll go over our indie wrestling stuff like we normally do. Marcus will do his part 3, next part on Indiana wrestlers. I've got a who was better list, and I've also got a bracket of the top 32 tag teams of all time.
Mm-hmm.
This is from Sports Illustrated.
Now, is this what you decided who was better in the team, or is this actual tag team versus tag team?
This is tag team versus tag team, and that who's better list is tag team partners.
Oh, so the whole thing's tag team.
Yeah, the Who's the Better is going to do with tag teams, and then I've got the top tag teams, top 230 tag teams against each other, and we'll go through that bracket, top 32, and see who comes out a winner.
And then we'll just go over the shows we went to.
Yep.
Yeah, because you guys are hitting Rowdies.
Yep.
And I'll have both NGWs and WCWO if it works out like it should.
Yep.
So.
And then
if I talk to Roger, I'd probably find out what the JICW event was like.
We're probably going to that.
Too. You know, Roger will be at that.
And then I was thinking, see what you guys of this opinion. On the 21st of if you still got some more of that series, we'll do that. Go over independence real quick. And I thought we had talked about doing this, us three. And if the people out there want to get involved, I don't care. Let's do a draft. We're going to draft our own wrestlers. What do you guys think? This is what I was thinking about. You do 8 wrestlers, 6 tag teams, and 6 female wrestlers.
And we're talking big time?
Yes. Well, I mean, if you want to put any in, but I was going pretty much big time. Any era, if you want to do you guys from 80s, 70s, 90s, 2000s, 2020, today. And you can't pick. When we pick, we'll have to figure out a way who goes first, second, third, whatever. But you can't pick one. Like if Marcus picks Ric Flair, I can't take Ric Flair. Chris can't take Ric Flair.
Oh, so you got to have more than 8 names.
Yeah, you're gonna have to come up with some names. You're gonna have to work on it, Chris.
Yeah, I'm not doing independence because I know too many people. I see too many stuff, and I ain't stepping on any toes.
I got the butt cream right over here.
Yeah, I know, but I can't do that. I'm friends with way too many people.
It'd be difficult. It'd be difficult to do. I agree. But yeah, we'll do a draft, and if once they maybe if a couple people want to get involved, they can get involved. We could do 5, 6 people. I don't think we want to go too many more than that.
Yeah, we're going to have to go in the archives to pick out names so Chris can't take them away from us because he won't know who they are.
Damien said he'll do it. So there's 4 of us.
So Chris ain't gonna pull the Kangaroos out because Chris probably don't know who the Kangaroos was. So
nope, that's true. Damien's got a question on there, Chris. You want to put that up here real quick? And we'll see if we can answer it. Marcus, I don't know if Marcus will have an opinion or not because he don't normally watch those shows. What are your thoughts on WWE changing commentators for Raw and SmackDown? They basically moved the SmackDown team to Raw and moved the Raw to SmackDown. Plus, they added Michael Cole's going to be doing both shows. And I think the reason is that they have an Australian guy who's been doing. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry out there, but have been doing Raw. He's new. I think they like him, but I think he needs training. And I think they figured Michael Cole. They're going to put him with Michael Cole to learn. So I think that's why they didn't want to give up on him, but they wanted him to get experience, from a veteran, because I think Michael Cole's probably the best doing it right now. And so I think that's why they did the changes. I know Damien didn't understand why they did that, but I think that's why they did it.
That's what I think too. And because Cole's only going to be around a few 2 or 3 more years, something like that.
Yeah, he said he's on his last contract. When it's up, he's done. He's trying to get to 30 years, I think.
Yeah, he said it on McAfee that day, but I can't remember exactly what it was. But it was only it's only like 2 or 3 more years or something like that. And he's going to retire.
So if somebody else out there would like to get on there, we'll take maybe 1 or 2 more people and want to do it. Damien said Damien DeVille said he would do it.
Are you able to bring him in?
Yeah, I can.
On the screen, that way we all can see each other. And
yeah.
Yep.
We
can do that.
Are you good for that, Damien? Coming on with us? I'm sure he will.
I'm sure probably could get I'm having a you moment.
I'd like to get our butthead, your son and my grandson on.
That's not going to happen.
I don't think he'll get on.
Glenn,
that would be a good one. See if Glenn's available.
Glenn's on here now, isn't he?
Well, I don't know. Austin might do it if he just put it up on the screen.
Maybe. You never know with Austin, but he might.
We're going to do that. Well, we got a little time to work on it. That's not next week. That'll be the 21st. We're going to do that.
He got on the show. He got on the camera last year to do the draft order or whatever for the football. Austin did.
Oh, we'll ask him. We've got 4 right now. We'll ask him. Maybe I don't want to go too high, because I don't want to take forever. But
Billy said he would, but he can't commit.
Things
Things
pop
pop up. I understand. All right. Do we have anything else for today?
no, I think we're good to go.
We got wrestling this weekend.
Yep.
We're going to be at WCWO on Saturday.
Yep.
And Marcus is going to NGW.
Both nights.
Saturday and Sunday.
Is there
Double stop.
WCWO on Friday. That's our plans right now. Kelly, she's on the mend, so she thinks she'll be good by then. Yeah, you guys go see Al Snow again.
Yep.
And Rowan, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Eric Rowan, Redbeard Rowan. And really, man, them tickets if you get them right now, they're only $10.
Well, even the day of, it's 15. That's still pretty good.
Yeah, for who's going to be there, and it's going to be a good show. So
Blake Money Wright versus Congo Kong, I heard.
yes.
Rowan and they're taking on the Soul Shooters, but who is it?
It's Jackson Morgan, Rowan and Jackson Morgan.
Lordy. Okay, that's going to be fantastic.
Yes.
Al Snow and Jordan James.
Yeah, Jordan James.
That's just them 3 matches there are fantastic, and they're gonna add more stuff to that, so it's gonna be really good.
Braves are losing 3-0. Yeah, them matches should be real good.
It should be a real
All 3
good
of
show.
those matches should be good. Well, if we don't get no funny business we all know which one's the main event.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I don't think it's going to happen there.
Just put it this way: if it does, there'll probably be some people's feelings hurt.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still laughing at our commentary, Chris. Me and you, once that quick pin happened, it's like, what the hell just happened? It's like,
yeah. Yeah, because I was like, I thought like, did I miss something or well, I even asked, did the bell ring? I thought they were going to come out and say the bell didn't ring, so the match hadn't started yet. Because I think I even asked on there, I asked like, did the bell ring?
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I had the camera on Tony because he'd figure out like, what in the hell just took.
Yeah.
The look on your face was killing me.
And I imagine, the one man crew, he thought he was doing commentary. He got to be on there for 30 seconds.
But he got everything that he needed to. He was just plugging his show at PWK yesterday.
Was he?
Yeah, well,
So he wanted to shout out.
I think he felt the same way as us. So I was like, what's
going on?
What's going on here? If you missed that show, go check it out. That show was last Wednesday. It was DCCW Wrestling at the Lion's Den. You can find out on our YouTube page at Gonzo'S Sports Room. Also, if you missed Summit Pro, turned the page yesterday. Go check. You can check it out on our YouTube page as well at Gonzo'S Sports Room or at the All Sports All Plays Network. Either one. Both of them were real solid shows. So, and we still have a WCWO show we have to air here. We'll be airing here before too long. And be another WCWO show this weekend. So looking forward to that.
Hopefully we're going to make it there. Hopefully, if everything works out, we'll be there on the 25th to do that show, the cage matches.
Outside. All stipulation cage matches. WCWO on the 25th.
It's going to be all different stipulations. So, if you live around that area.
Matches, they're going to be stipulation cage matches. So,
Yes.
Yeah, we plan on being at that one.
Hey, that'd be the perfect time. Joey Owens, Mike King's dog collar match, steel cage.
Make sure you set up the third mic so we can all do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll bring for that one. Let's probably bring our stuff, I would assume. I'm assuming. I don't know.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. That's what I would assume, but
Yep.
you never know.
I'm just
never
assuming.
know till you basically till you get till you get there.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yes. Yep.
Sometimes before then, but sometimes.
No, that one time we took all our stuff and didn't even need it. So 11.
Yeah, I didn't have no clue on that one. Yep. But all right, we appreciate everybody joining us tonight. We'll be back Monday with another episode of GWR. Hope everybody has a great Monday night, and we'll see you guys next week.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens show. They've been trying to get me on this podcast forever, and this is the worst damn podcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.